Hey Christian, you ready for the music themed podcast episode?
You bet. I can't wait to talk about Michael Jackson. But what's a podcast?
Bruh, do you not remember the past 36 episodes that we've done?
36 episodes. What are you talking about?
Every Friday, we record a live stream or publish a podcast video. A podcast is where you talk about stuff to people, and I'm surprised you don't know what I'm talking about.
Man, have you been hanging out with the skaters? Are you high right now?
I wish.
Nothing you're saying makes any sense to me. But whatever, I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm too thrilled about talking about the new Thriller album that Michael Jackson just released.
New Thriller album. Michael Jackson died in 2009.
What? Bro, what are you talking about? It's 1982.
What? So you mean to tell me I'm in another reality or timeline or dimension or something along the sorts?
It would seem that way.
Ah!
Hi guys, welcome to episode 3 of Off Topic. I hope you liked our little skit. We try to make the intros entertaining on these, at least since episode 2. But yeah, we are actually doing a music themed episode. So we actually picked 11 songs each. Don't ask why. Actually, I'll tell you, it's because I couldn't pick between two songs. It was already hard to pick only 10. And then we had the other person listen to it with the lyrics pulled up. But before we did that, we like explained a little bit about the artist, the context, whatever. Uh, and so the hope was to expose both of us to music that we don't typically listen to, and hopefully we gained something from it, which we will talk a little bit about at the end. And we went through and kind of left notes about each song, what we liked, what we didn't like. We even gave them a ranking out of 10. Obviously, music and art in general is subjective, and it's kind of hard to rate certain songs because sometimes it's more focused on the story rather than like something that's fun to listen to, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think we both probably gained a lot from it, and I am excited to talk about that. Before we do that though, let's talk about a little bit of just music in general, like what we like personally, and just to give some context behind the songs we picked versus the songs that the other person had to listen to and whether or not they fall into something they would typically listen to or not. So why don't you talk about your music taste, Nick?
So, growing up, I listened to country music, and to this day, I still listen to country music. Now, I've kind of fallen out of love with modern country music just because I like the older style. I like 90s country and 80s country and stuff like that, but I still listen to some newer country here and there.
That's it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I
Okay.
do listen to oldies like old rock and stuff, but not as often as I listen to country. Like country is like always being played in the car and stuff.
Gotcha. Where do I begin? I consider myself a bit of a audiophile, or I guess musicophile, whatever it's called. I don't know the official term, but I really like music. Not super deep as other people, but I've pretty much dove into pretty much every genre you can think of. I have a playlist for almost every genre you can possibly think of, including Mongolian throat singing. That's not a joke. Um, but yeah, I like video game music. I like rap. I like um, old school rap, new school. I like pop, 80s pop, Japanese pop, rock, indie rock, punk. Pretty much anything, like I said. Uh, so I'm pretty well versed, I would say, into multiple genres. But fun fact about me, I don't really like country. I do like Zach Bryan though, but that's really the only one that I've listened to out of my like own choosing. So I'd say me and you, Nick, are very different.
He did not listen to Zach Bryan today. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, we did not. But you knew I listened to him before, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think we talked about it when we went through the drag races last year.
Yeah, the drag show. The drag race.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Anyways, I guess let's get right into it. So I'm a big Radiohead fan. I honestly probably picked a song that wasn't the best for a beginner to get into their music to, but that's fine. It's probably their most popular song, or one of, I guess technically, if we want to get real, Creep is their most popular song, but I didn't want to pick that. If you're a Radiohead fan, you can understand why. Anyways, I picked Let Down from OK Computer, the album. Um, One of my favorite songs. I like songs that have a lot of cool instrumentality and like cool vocals, even if I don't understand the lyrics or if the singer's just humming or something. If it's like, I don't know, if it's just like beautiful, I guess. I don't really know how else to describe it. It's just, I love it. I love the feeling of just like sit back, put on some headphones in the rain, take a walk, whatever, that kind of thing. These songs I've listened to on my way to class so many times. So, yeah, let's hear your thoughts.
So going into it, I liked the musicality and the use of different instruments. Uh, Also, I noted that sometimes the lyrics were hard to hear, and I'm more of a lyrics person. I like to connect with music. I like storytelling music, which is why I like the older country, and really country as a whole is typically like that. And then I also noted that I like the ending where it had like robot noises. And Christian noted that a lot of their songs on that album were like that.
Yeah.
So I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Which I think is pretty good. I think it shows that you recognize its, um, like, I guess, quality, you know,
Mhm.
but it just might not be for you fully. Do you think you could see, I mean, obviously we have another Radiohead song later. Do you think Radiohead might be a band you'd listen to more of?
Uh, I think I'd be okay listening to it, but I don't think I'd ever add it to my playlist.
Hmm. Okay.
Just because I'm like all the way in on country music. Like it's all I've ever listened
Do
to
you
for the
even
most
listen to
part.
like old school rock at all?
Yeah, because when I grew up, my parents would play like AC/DC, Led Zeppelin.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Well, then you would probably actually like their first two albums.
hmm.
They're a little bit more like that, especially their second one. I think you'd actually like that. All right. What's the song you chose for me?
So I chose a Chris Stapleton song. He's probably one of my favorite artists from the modern time, besides maybe Cody Johnson. But which I did not put a Cody Johnson song on this list, but that's besides the point. I chose Nobody to Blame because it's not a well-known song for people outside of country that don't listen to country. I was going to choose Tennessee Whiskey, but I know that's a pretty popular song. So I went with this because it's got a deep meaning to it, and just I like the guitar parts and the steel guitar and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I thought the lyrics were a lot deeper than I expected, but it wasn't anything crazy. I liked the background vocal with the woman. At one point, a woman came in and they sang at the same time. I don't always like that, so that's why I noted it. My only real negatives was the instruments. I'm really not a big fan of like the country style of like fiddle, country style guitar, simple drums, that sort of thing. Um, yeah, so that's like my only real negative, and then the lyrics could have been a little deeper, but I guess it's fine. I guess I'm just really used to like super poetic lyrics that don't always have meaning the first time you read them or hear them, but the like more you dive into them, they do. So I gave it an 8 out of 10. Thought it was fine. I probably want to add it to my playlist, but I wouldn't turn it off if someone else was playing it or something. Next song was Jigsaw Falling Into Place by Radiohead. I thought Nick might like this song a little bit more because it's, I feel like a little less experimental than Let Down, but like now that I listen to it again, maybe not actually. Uh, I guess I didn't really account for the fact that some of the lyrics are really kind of out there and at times hard to understand, like Nick mentioned in the other song. But yeah, take it away.
So Some notes I took were I liked the guitar bit at the beginning. I don't remember what it sounds like now, but I did like it when listened to it. Um, I did note that the lyrics were kind of weird, but at the same time, I also was digging it. And there's a cool echo before an instrumental break, which was between the lyrics, just as you dance, 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 which that's where it is. It's when he says
Yeah,
dance the last time.
it's when the music starts to shift and then the like really vocal part comes, which is funny because you talk about that next.
I put that I was not a fan of the ending vocals.
Which honestly broke my heart a little because that was my favorite part of the song. But I get it. If you're not accustomed to this type of music, and like I said, this is like barely scratching the surface of some of the weird kind of darker punk aesthetic themed songs, I guess. And Radiohead's not even punk, but um, yeah. I guess if you're not used to that, I could see why it would be weird.
And I gave it a 7 out of 10 on the ratings.
Next up, we got I Don't Even Know Your Name by Alan Jackson.
So I chose this song because originally my idea was to go full on, send each other one artist, send them 10 songs from that artist, and kind of get them to listen to a different genre, a different artist. But then Christian told me he picked like 8 different artists. I was like, well, that just went out the window, but we ended up making it work. So I picked this song because it's a cool, I guess, cool song. It's really upbeat, and I figured he'd like it because it's upbeat and it's got a, I wouldn't say a weird twist, but a different twist to it at the end. Like
Yeah,
I,
I picked 8 different artists, but I have 3 written down that I didn't use in case we ever do this again. And if you're curious, those were Kate Bush, Gorillaz, and the Smashing Pumpkins.
mm,
Uh, okay. Right off the bat, I was like, these are some fun lyrics, and I liked the upbeat tempo. But by the end of it, I was like, yeah, I mean, it's a funny song, but I didn't really like it didn't have a deeper meaning to it, which I tend to like, which is okay. Not every song has to have that. I like fun songs too. Um, but for me personally, I just felt like that just made it made it hard to rate because I like to rate things on like the kind of artistic side of it, or how much I enjoy it. And for me personally, that lack of like kind of deep meaning behind it just prevented it from being super high. So I gave it a 7.25 out of 10. The next song was Someday by The Strokes. I thought Nick might like this song. It's a little bit more rock focused. And yeah, just this album as a whole is really, really good. I love The Strokes. Their new album's pretty good. I don't like the auto tune, but that's okay. Um, that came out literally like a week ago or so. So yeah, what's your thoughts?
so I noted at the beginning, I don't remember if it was throughout the whole song, but at the beginning it gave like an older beach song vibe. I was gonna say like the Beach Boys, but I don't think the Beach Boys sound like that. But it gave like a beachy type of vibe, I guess. Um, I said the background music is pretty much the same throughout the first minute, and later stays pretty much the same with different notes and style. I mentioned that I like the little drum solo, if you want to call it, between the verses "No, I ain't wasting no more time," and "Now my fears they come to me in threes." I also said I can understand lyrics better than the other songs, which I did like, and I noted it was a pretty groovy song. But with the background music being pretty much the same, that made me dock points, so I went with the 7.5.
Which I think is somewhat valid. That's the one like negative of that song is that the background music doesn't really change, but I picked it because if I would have picked some of the other songs from that album, while the music would have changed a little bit, some of the like lyrics and intonation and stuff would have probably been a little weird for you. So I thought that was probably the most tame song for you, and I figured the upbeat grooviness would be enjoyable. Uh, Next song, Chattahoochee by Alan Jackson. So we're back to Alan Jackson.
Yes. So, like I said, I planned on picking Alan Jackson songs because I like Alan Jackson. I grew up on Alan Jackson. My aunt's favorite artist was Alan Jackson. He's got a good gospel record or a gospel album. He's got a bluegrass album. I like a couple songs off of there. So pretty versatile. I was going to use some mix of those songs with his country music. But Chattahoochee, a very well known song, and it's fun. You know, it gets hotter than a hoochie coochie, and you settle for a burger and a grape snow cone.
Um, yeah, immediately I noted it was a fun song, and I liked the lyrical rhythms. I'm a big fan of when the lyrics and the voice of the singer does certain things with the tone and or rhythm, uh, as well as like vocal range. So I really liked that. I don't remember much about the song. A lot of your songs, I'm sorry, Nick, kind of all blur together, but that's okay because you did kind of pick only country, whereas mine was a little bit more variety. But yeah, I thought it was good. I gave it an 8.25 out of 10. The next song, I didn't know this when I picked it, but I think it actually resolved some of the issues Nick had with the other Strokes song. I picked Ode to the Mets by the Strokes. This song is kind of the opposite of the other one. It has a lot of musical changes, and it's a very unique song. And the ending is just amazing. You just, yeah, I love the vibes of it.
So the notes I made on this song were it was almost like a video game beat at the beginning, and I liked the guitar part at the beginning as well, but I noted maybe not with the beat that it was with, because it was kind of off rhythm and it was throwing me off. But then I said I like the almost live feeling where he muffles his words and asks for the drums.
Yeah,
Um,
that's actually a very famous part within the Strokes fans community. I see a bunch of Instagram reels all the time where it's just that part, and he says, "Drums, please, Fad," and then the drum comes in, the drummer comes in. So I thought it was really funny that you noted that because you're not really versed into that community, and yet you still noticed it. You know what I mean?
mhm. And I noted that it feels almost like a slow rock vibe. I don't remember it a whole lot now to kind of explain what I was thinking, but
It is a kind of slow song. Yeah.
I think I think I said that because like they were doing like those screams like rock and rollers, but it was slowed down. It wasn't like heavy guitars and stuff. But I gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
I was glad you liked it.
Plus the rhythm kind of sounded familiar. I don't know what it was about it. I don't know if
Well,
I've
we
heard a
talked about
similar
it
song.
afterwards. It's a very hummable song, like a song that would get stuck in your head. Um, it does have nothing to do with the Mets, though.
Yeah.
I looked it up. Apparently, it was a placeholder after the 2016 playoffs and the Mets lost.
Mm.
And I guess they just stuck with it because this album came out in 2020. So,
Well, moving on to my next song that I picked is All My Exes Live in Texas. And I tried to give him a variety of older songs and newer songs, but I didn't want to go too far back because
by George
of,
Strait, by the way.
yeah, it's by George Strait. I didn't want to go too far back, like to Merle Haggard and Conway Twitty, any of those guys, because of, I want him to kind of see what country is like recently, not the old stuff, because I know you're into more upbeat music for the most part. Um, so yeah, I picked this song because it's a good song in my opinion. But yeah, let's see what you had to say about it.
So I have heard this song before, um, but I don't know if I've ever heard it all the way. Immediately, I was like, "This sounds kind of like a Christmas song," and and it was fun. It was a good song, but I didn't like that the volume and tone stayed pretty much constant throughout. It felt like there needed to be a big moment. So like even when it got to like the chorus and stuff, the singer's voice didn't really even change. It was almost like you couldn't even tell it was the chorus. I mean, it was obvious because of the lyrics and stuff, but yeah, that was just my only complaint. It felt like it needed a big moment. I don't know what that moment would have been, but it didn't have it. So I gave it a 7.25 out of 10. Do you think that's a valid criticism?
Yeah, uh, but then again, it's not like a normal song. Like almost every song has that part where it gets up and I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but like almost every song has that part where it gets
Yeah, yeah.
more
So you're
lively or
saying
whatever.
you're saying because it's different, it's good.
I guess.
It's like, oh, that song we listened to is only 2 seconds long. Well, every song is longer than 2 seconds, so it's good because of that. No, I'm kidding. But he's coping, guys. He's coping. No, it's fine. Uh, no,
I
it's a good
can't
song.
I can't explain why I like it. I guess it's just because that's what I grew up on was George Strait and all that older. I guess if you want to call it older
It's an
in the
iconic
'90s.
song. I'll
Yeah.
give you that. Next up, I had to put him on Miss Lauryn Hill. I mean, come on. One of the greatest to ever do it. And honestly, probably underrated because I'm sure there's lots of people that don't really listen to R&B music who or even rap that don't know anything about her. And in my opinion, she's one of the greatest R&B artists of all time, one of the greatest female rappers of all time, without a doubt. And yeah, so I picked To Zion by her. It was really tough to pick only one song, but I felt like this one is one that Nick would have liked because of the deep lyrics, and I think actually this song is more relevant today than ever. It has themes about pregnancy and in a way abortion, although it never really says it. It's kind of implied that so if you don't know, this song is about her pregnancy with her first son, and she talks about how like her producers and stuff were telling her that it would ruin her music career and stuff, but she chose with God's help to give birth nonetheless. And she at the end talks about how much of a joy that brought to her life and stuff. So yeah, like I said, I think it's more relevant today than ever, and I figured for those themes and stuff, Nick might like it.
So why don't we get into what I thought about this song? So I originally said from the beginning I liked the rhythm. It was a pretty good song. I don't remember it a whole lot, but I do remember that I liked the rhythm and I liked the guitar in the background. I put guitar in quotes because I wasn't sure if it was a guitar or if it was another instrument that sounded like a
It
guitar.
is a guitar. It Carlos Santana did it. He's
Mm.
a very famous, I think, Mexican guitarist. I don't know if I know a lot of his other songs, but I'm assuming he's probably in some famous songs that maybe both of us have heard of. I don't know.
I also noted that I liked the choir when the choir would sing with her, obviously, and I liked the storytelling. But towards the end, I put in there that I'm not a fan of the lyrical repetition for minutes on end. But I did like the military feel to it at the end, where they
Yeah,
had
they
the
have a snare drum.
yeah.
It's really weird. Like it's like very early 2000s R&B, and then it becomes gospel choir, and then also at the same time like a military march. But it makes sense with the lyrics because they're talking about marching. But yeah, continue.
So I ended up giving it a 7 out of 10.
Which I was a little surprised. I guess you're just not used to repetition.
Well, not for minutes on end.
That's fair. I guess
That
all
was a
all
long time.
we should point out all of Nick's songs were like 4 minutes or less. Most of mine were 5 to 6 minutes, and one of them was 12 minutes long. So again, that I think that kind of shows the disconnect between country music and other music. Whether that's good or bad is, up for debate. That's whatever. But that it is worth noting that there is seemingly a length distinction, and I wonder why that is.
I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason. I'm just not aware of what that reason is.
Probably just country doesn't have a lot of like halfway through the song it will switch styles or with different instruments, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they're like select instruments.
So that's probably why. If they did that more or had longer guitar solos and stuff, it probably could be 5 minutes or longer. And I'm sure there is country songs that are long, but yeah.
So moving on to the next song. Speaking of country music, we have "God's Country" by Blake Shelton. Now, growing up, once again, I'm only 22 years old, so Blake Shelton was one of the biggest stars while I was growing up. So obviously, he was always on the radio. I remember waking up every Saturday watching CMT. If you don't know what CMT is, country music television. They had their top 20s. Blake Shelton was always on there. Um, Not talking, but his music videos were on there and occasionally talking. But I chose this song specifically. I almost chose Old Red because Old Red is a good song. But I went with God's Country because I love patriotic songs. And I thought this would be a good song for Christian.
Yeah, so I have heard this song before and I've heard of Blake Shelton, obviously. He's on The Voice. And I was surprised though. I liked the modern and atmospheric instrumentation used. When I heard this in the past, I wasn't really paying attention to the instruments. Um, but after listening to four other, four other country songs up to this point, I was really pleasantly surprised that the music at least was a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit more reminiscent of stuff I listen to, like almost how Radiohead experiments with instruments and stuff. Um, I also liked I liked his voice, but at times, especially during the chorus, it reminded me of Nickelback. And I'm not a really big Nickelback fan. So because of that, it actually kind of ruined the song for me. I couldn't get that image out of my head. But I have a feeling based on the little glimpses of the instrumentality and stuff that I would actually probably like some of his other songs. So I give it an 8 out of 10. So honestly, if it didn't sound like Nickelback, probably a 9 out of 10 song. All right, up next.
So is that you saying you don't like Nickelback's music?
No, I don't. I'm a
Oh, you
big
really don't?
Nickelback hater,
Mm.
and I stand by that. Well, Nickelback as a whole has cycles of haters and love. It's like really, really popular, and then people are like, wait, this is kind of cringe. I don't like it. And then it comes back like 10 years later, like, wait a minute, this is kind of fire. And then the cycle repeats. Anyways, next song I picked Silhouette by Little Sims. I really, really wanted to expose Nick to something that he would never discover on his own. And that was a British female rapper by the name of Little Sims. I discovered her about a year and a half or 2 years ago. Um, and I just love her music. The way that she incorporates orchestral music with rap is so interesting and I love it. She really reminds me a lot of Lauryn Hill. But also parts of her music sometimes reminds me of Kendrick Lamar. So anyways, I picked Silhouette. I was kind of debating between a couple of different songs. I wanted to maybe pick some of her songs that are a bit more African in nature, like tribal almost, like instrumentation and stuff. But I ended up picking this because I thought this is more close to a lot more of her songs in general because it has a lot of orchestral parts to it, but also rap with like meaningful, um, I guess lyrics specific to her life and stuff. So. So yeah, what's your feelings on it?
So I said at first it was really the first thing that hit me. I said I like the British accent because there's really not many songs that I've heard that the British accent really sticks out. Like there's a lot of British artists that you can hardly tell they have an accent in their songs.
Like
But
Radiohead?
yeah, and I'm trying to think of who else. Ozzy kind of,
I don't know.
but
I'm guessing
anyways,
Ozzy is probably Australian though. I don't know who that is.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, he's British. I thought you meant some guy named Aussie. Like Australians call themselves Aussies.
Oh,
Gotcha.
any anyway, I also noted I like the background noises, and well, going back to the British accent thing, I've never heard a rapper with a British accent, so it was kind of cool to hear the accent along with the fast rap type of style, I guess.
Hmm.
Then I also said that the song reminds me of a song you would hear on a 2K soundtrack.
Yeah. I bet she's probably on a 2K soundtrack, actually.
But that was before all the other stuff came, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
She's
And
in 2K21.
oh, really?
Yep. Her song Venom.
I might remember that song
It
if I
actually
heard it.
might have been also in the Venom movie soundtrack. I'm not sure.
But anyways, I said I'm not a fan of rap, which we already know. But if it was a song in a game, I could see myself getting down with it, which would be getting me pumped just to lose.
Yeah.
And then the music changed, and I said I like the orchestra slash marching band because it was kind of a mix with both.
Yeah.
And I said now we're in a college football video game song feel, and I said a bunch of changes in the song musically, but I liked it, and I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a fun song. And yeah. If you've never heard her music and you like orchestral music, you like rap, give it a listen.
Now the next song I chose was "Boot Scootin' Boogie" by Brooks and Dunn, and I could have chosen other songs, but I looked up a list. I kind of cheated. I looked up a list. What country songs would a new listener like? And it said Boot Scootin' Boogie, so I put Boot Scootin' Boogie on there. And then Christian happened to already have heard it a few times.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty popular song.
But anyway, so that's why I chose Boot Scootin' Boogie because I needed help.
So the piano solo was fire. I'm just gonna put that out there. It was. However, I didn't love his voice, and I'm not even talking about the boogie part where he like does the high pitch voice. That was a
The
little weird,
the
but
Boot Scootin' Boogie.
yeah, but I can like I'll live with that because it's like kind of like a yodel, but his actual like normal voice, I just really didn't like it that much.
If you want to hear yodeling by him, you got to listen to My Maria.
Okay, I'll do that sometime. I won't. Anyways, I gave it a 7.25 out of 10 just because I really couldn't get behind it. But the piano solo is fire. Not that he probably even wrote that part, but you know. Or I guess it's two guys. Is Dunn the piano player?
Ronnie Dunn is the singer.
Who's Brooks?
Hicks Brooks. I think he does some singing, but I think he's mostly guitar. I don't know who played the piano for Boot Scootin' Boogie.
Hmm. Well, that's the questions that we need to know.
Let me look it up. Who played piano for Boot Scootin' Boogie? No official record of a specific musician being credited as the piano player.
It was AI generated.
The official credits list Brooks and Dunn as performers and Ronnie Dunn as songwriter. So yeah, it doesn't say.
Uh, so it probably was Dunn's writing, though, presumably. It doesn't really matter who the piano player was. Well, guess we'll never know. If you guys know, let us know in the comment. Next song, this is a weird pick, I know, I know. Ghost Town by Kanye West featuring Party Next Door. I love this song. I listen to this all the time and I like forget it exists and then I remember and then I jam out in my car. Like I said, I like vocal music with fun parts and this is that. But I'll be honest, objectively, it's not one of Kanye's best songs. But I actually think it's underrated and this album is actually underrated. But I wanted to give it to Nick because I enjoy it. I easily could have picked something else.
All right, and that's all that matters is that you decided you wanted to expose me to Kanye West, who I already know.
And I'm actually glad though, because I figured there's probably some Kanye songs you know. So I wanted to expose you to something you definitely haven't heard and that I enjoy. Because up until this point, you were giving everything like a 7 or 8 or above. So I'm actually
Hmm.
glad, spoiler alert, that you didn't like this song because it shows that sometimes you just have differences in what you like.
So for this one, I like the older music sound, but a little bit later there was like mumbling lyrics, and so I'm not a fan of the occasional mumbling lyrics,
Yeah,
and
I get it. I like it
yeah.
actually. I don't like mumble rap, but in this song, I think it kind of works because it's like they kind of hum almost instead of mumble.
Hmm.
But anyways, continue.
I said I like the random line. I put my hand on the stove to see if I still bleed.
Yeah, it's pretty deep,
And then my last thing for the song was the ending feels almost unfinished.
which could be very true. I don't remember what the ending's like, but
But I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
yeah, which is valid. That's totally fine.
Yeah, it's okay to have a different opinion.
But I told him he probably that opinion probably lines up with quite a lot of Kanye fans. 'Cause people don't like this album. I think now, looking back with some of his other newer albums that really are bad, this is maybe a little bit viewed upon brighter, I guess. I don't know. Hindsight's 2020.
The next song I chose was You Look Like You Love Me by Ella Langley and Riley Green. So I chose this song because Christian told me he's never heard an Ella Langley song.
I have heard of her though.
I was like, how have you never heard an Ella Langley song? And she's been number one on all billboards for 15 weeks now. And which that song's on this list later. But so yeah, this was I don't remember. People can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I remember to be the one song that really sent her over the top for everybody to like fall in love with her music and create the Ella Fellas, which kind of started around choosing Texas because I'd never heard of any Ella Fellas until people started going crazy about that song.
Ella fellas.
Yeah, that's what they call them. It's like a fan club now called the Ella Fellas.
Okay, cool.
There's actually a guy I work with. He has an Ella Fellas
Oh
T-shirt.
my gosh. Anyways, right off the bat, I didn't really like her talking voice. I actually don't have anything against Southern accents. In some cases, I actually think it can be attractive in a woman. Not always, but sometimes. For whatever reason, I just didn't really like hers. But it was okay for the sake of the song story. As soon as she sang, though, I was like, dang, she has a great voice. And I also noticed there's a lot of pop influence with her singing. Maybe it's just because she's female, so it gives off that vibes, but I get the sense that she does have a little bit of pop influence, and she is a younger singer, like you said, 27, I believe.
Yep.
Um, I don't love it though, but I do get this feeling that I would like some of her other music. So I gave it an 8.25 out of 10. I think I get the sense that she's a good entryway into country possibly for someone like me because of that pop influence. And her voice is really good.
Hmm.
All right, up next we got Indigo Night by Tamino. I think that's how you say his name. Um, I discovered this guy really randomly. I asked ChatGPT while on the toilet. I'm not kidding. Uh, for like songs similar to Radiohead or something. I don't even remember. It was a very like specific thing I was searching for, and man, did it nail it with this. Because this album is fire. Anyways, he is a Belgium Egyptian singer, and he uses a lot of Egyptian chord progression and influence in this album as a whole, but not a ton on this song, but a little bit. But he just has a beautiful voice, and there's one part in the song that is just like I don't even know. It's just amazing. So yeah, let's hear your thoughts.
So initially, when this song started playing, I was singing to myself. I like the name of the song. Well, actually, I didn't say that when the song started playing. I actually skipped ahead a couple songs while he was listening to Boot Scoot and Boogie, and I was like, that's a cool name. I don't know what it is about the word indigo, but the word indigo made it sound like a cool song name. Um, but then when it started playing, I said I get almost an Egyptian vibe from the guitar. I said the music makes me feel like I am the guy on the album cover in the water, like I'm floating on
Which
the
is
water.
so that is so real. Like I get that too.
like floating on the water, and the soft waves are splashing against you. And I said he's really good at matching his voice with the instruments, where he like, I don't know what to call it. He's not humming, but he's like making his voice an instrument.
Yep.
Um,
And I mean, we kind of saw that with some of the other songs. I love songs like that. Like it can tell a story more than lyrics at times, you know what I mean?
I guess so, yeah. I mean, it definitely adds flair to the song. Shows
Yeah.
the artist can actually use his vocals to match pitch or whatever you want to call it.
hmm
And then the last thing I noted was I liked the ending. I don't remember the ending now, but
I think the ending was just that part that you were just talking about. It's probably what you're referring to.
mm, probably. So I gave it a 9 out of 10, which I think was the highest I gave any of the songs that you gave me.
Yeah. And I mentioned him. I actually think he would like his newer albums because it's a bit more like singer-songwriting with a guitar and stuff. It's not country,
More like acoustic.
but yeah, I do think, yeah. I mean, could you see yourself checking him out again?
Potentially. I mean, I did like that song. I felt
Yeah.
like I was like stranded in the middle of the ocean with the soft waves splashing against me with my head laid back, and I'm like, I'm
And
gonna die here, but this is a good song.
and after we were done, I did briefly show him another song by him that had like full-on Egyptian music, and it's just like you feel like you're in the desert in like a car or something, you know?
Yeah, like look out, a camel.
Camel milk. Oh no.
Yeah, we got to try some.
Yeah, if you guys know where we can get camel milk, let us know. Gosh, now we have 2 episodes in a row where we're talking about milk. What are we becoming here?
We're getting off topic. Oh, I guess that's the name of this series.
So yeah, if you guys haven't listened to Tamino, I really hope I'm saying that name correctly. Check him out. He is so underrated.
And then the next song that I gave Christian was Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue by Toby Keith. And if you don't know who Toby Keith is, he's dead, but he died
I
of
thought
stomach cancer.
I thought that I had seen him in person. I was talking to Nick. I went to a NASCAR race once and they were singing a song there. But it actually was not him. It was what was it?
Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah, Florida Georgia Line.
The song he was talking about was Cruise by Florida Georgia Line that went like really popular.
And Nick was super jealous that I saw him live.
No, I wasn't. Anyway,
It was
I
against
chose
my
this,
will, to be fair. They just brought him out.
and then they were really popular though. Went on WWE. They actually were
Yeah,
like
this was like
announcers
10
for a
years ago,
match.
probably.
Yeah, but anyways, I chose Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue because it's who Toby Keith is. He's a big patriotic guy. I listen to a lot of his music. I love his patriotic songs. Like I said earlier, I'm a big patriotic song person. But
USA. USA.
yeah, I'm a big fan of the U.S. because I live here. So,
Well, you don't have to be a fan of something just because you live there.
right, like I heard that some guy I work with, his his son's girlfriend was rooting for Spain the whole Olympics, or not Olympics, the whole World Cup. Like even when the U.S. was in it.
I feel like that's a little different though, because you can enjoy like the players on teams. You know what I mean?
Right, right. You can enjoy it, but how are you rooting for another country? That's like
Well, they had that they had a DoorDash thing where if your team won it all, you get like DoorDash dollars.
I didn't know that. Well, I guess that changes my perspective on
I
that.
don't know if that was her case, but it would make sense because Spain was kind of the favorite to win it all, and if she wants that DoorDash bucks, it would make sense to pick.
Actually, he did tell me that his son had a bet on like Bet365 for Argentina to win it all.
Oh wow.
So they were like rooting against each other on the final game.
We don't endorse gambling though. Don't do
Yeah,
it.
we don't do it.
We've said that on our normal podcast. Now we've said it here, so we're good. We're covering all our bases.
Yes.
All right, so I had heard this song before. In fact, I heard it not too long ago during the 4th of July. But anyways, I wasn't a big fan of the chorus, but the rest was great. I wrote America in all caps. But I did have a question. Is this song really only listenable on the 4th of July? I think No, but kind of yes. And then I thought the bells are weird at the end, even though it makes sense for the song and what it's talking about at the time, the bells of liberty or whatever. I kind of wish they used a different bell. I didn't really like the tone of it. Tune your bells, kids. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. Good song.
So the lyric that he was talking about was something I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's when the Statue of Liberty starts ringing her bells or something. But anyways, I was gonna say you don't always have to listen to it on the 4th of July because I listen to it about once a week.
All right, so next up, I had to put it in Google Translate to see how to pronounce, and it didn't help because it translated it, and I didn't want it to. Anyways, I think it's pronounced Maria La Curandera by Natalia Lafourcade. Nailed it. I discovered this woman about a year ago, and I heard that it was like Latin jazz. Well, the album that I heard about was like Latin jazz inspired. So I'm like, I like jazz. I don't speak Spanish,
You like
but
jazz?
let's give it a go. And man, it is fire. I listened to that album on my way to school in the snow. It was so nice. And this is one of those things that, like, if you don't speak Spanish, it's gonna be a little weird at first, but just give it a go, and you will be dancing. I think me and Nick both were dancing while listening to this.
I'm not gonna lie, I was dancing a little bit.
So, yeah. What were your thoughts?
So the things I said were I'm not a huge fan from the start. I said I like to understand the lyrics, which I said, well, I guess I never said that. But anyways, I just said it sounds like a song from Coco. If you don't know what Coco is, it's a movie, a Disney movie. And then I said it's got groovy music. And like I said, we were dancing, or I was dancing to a little bit. I said it reminds me of that. This was I said this before we looked up the video of the dance, and I said it reminds me of a good fit for that one Fortnite emote from season 8. We looked it up. It was called the conga. But after seeing it again, it wasn't really a good fit except for like 2 seconds of the emote. But anyways, I said I liked the castanets in there. They were like I don't want to say vibrant, but they were noticeable. And I also
Did you like
said,
the cuica? Which I had to look up what it was called.
and I also said monkey/owl noises question mark, and it was the Kawika.
Yeah, it's like a little drum with like a stick on the inside that you like rub with a towel. And I had heard of this before in a Cuphead song, and I've always wondered what it was called. So now we know. I like it though. It's cool. It's a cool instrument, I think.
I ended up giving the song a 7.5 out of 10.
Do you like the sound that it makes?
I don't know.
It's
It's
not like you
just
can throw
weird.
it in any song, but given like
Yeah,
the right context and vibe, it's kind of cool.
like this song.
I think more country songs should use it. No. Although I bet they could use it somehow, you know?
I guess so, potentially.
Because I mean, a fiddle is just a violin, played a certain way.
Hmm.
So what's to stop them from taking that and, doing something weird with it?
Yeah, I get it.
Up next, what do we got?
Up next, we got Nothing But the Taillight by Clint Black. So I chose this song because I recently refound it. I didn't have it in my playlist, but I ended up going to the Country Music Hall of Fame over the 4th of July, and it was playing in there, and brought back this song that I haven't heard in a long time, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I don't have that in my playlist. So I was like, well, I have like close to half old, half new, so I'll put this one in there to make it balanced. And yeah, so I chose this song.
So I thought it reminded me kind of 70s music, like a music group that you would hear, because it did have a bit of layered vocals, but with like a country twist. So that was cool. I did think it was very kind of busy and noisy sounding. I don't know how to describe that really, and I don't fully remember what I meant by that, but I think it was kind of a lot for my ears to take in, and it never really gave you room to breathe, which is okay. But for this particular song, I thought it lowered it a bit for me. And I thought the end was super disappointing. They kind of do like an instrument only section, but no like actual commit to a solo. So I wrote down, give me a solo, bro. So I gave it a 7.75 out of 10. Next song is Feel by Kendrick Lamar. I don't know why I picked this. I wanted to expose Nick to Kendrick and to show that not all rap is like what it's stereotypically thought to be as. Sometimes it can be very deep, but I didn't want to like dive him too headfirst. So I think I picked this song because it was, in my opinion, somewhat relatable because he talks about his feelings and stuff, and I thought maybe Nick might have some of these feelings. Looking back on it, maybe I should have picked something else, but regardless, let's hear your thoughts on
So my first initial thought was he feels a lot.
it.
Every line was I feel
Almost,
something.
not every line, but almost every line.
Yeah, just about every line. And then I started having fun with it. I said, I feel it all. With feel in all caps because the name is all caps. And then I put feel
I
in all
think every
caps
song,
again.
I think every song on that album is all caps, by the way.
So I put feel in all caps. Sorry, nobody is praying for him. Because in the song he says nobody's praying for him. And then he said
You
something
think
about what
that's what? Do you think that's relatable? Do you ever think like that? Or do you not really care if people pray for you or not?
I don't really care if people pray for me, but I tend to Riley is more of the type to
Your
pray,
wife.
yeah, for us, and I'm more the type to pray for others. So
Gotcha.
we kind of balance out, I guess. But yeah,
But
so
I think you could understand why that might be upsetting to someone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Continue.
he also said 3 times in a row, not back to back, but like 3 lines in a row. He says, "Look," and then something else. And I said, "I'm looking," just to mess around with it. But I don't remember where this was. I think it was towards the end. But I
I
said I
think it's
like.
throughout the whole song.
Oh well, I
It's
said I
like the
like
background
the.
sound.
I said I liked the weird little voice in the background. It was like really auto tuned, I think.
It's like distorted, yeah.
But I said 6.5 out of 10. I like some lyrics and don't like others. Like feel just about every line, the word feel.
Yeah, I get
And
the sense you don't really like repetition.
well, I do, but not like I feel this, I feel this, I feel this, I feel this, I feel this. Look,
It kind of drives across the point though that he's feeling a lot of things, right?
that did not sound good.
But again, to go back, so okay, rap is very rooted in poetry, and repetition is a figure of speech. We've learned about this in English class because you were obviously paying attention in English class, right?
Uh, I can't say yes or no.
What is repetition good for?
Remembering.
Well, yes, but if you're,
Practice makes perfect.
yeah, we can just go with that. It's good for it drives the point across is what I'm getting at.
It's good
So,
for the soul. Alphabet soup.
anyways, what's our next song?
So our next song is Choosing Texas. So here's another Ella Langley song. This is the one that's been on the top of the billboards for 15 weeks straight. She is now the number one, uh, or the only woman to do this 15 weeks in a row. So I chose him this song because obviously people must like it.
So I said, I don't really like the vocal rhythm of the chorus. The voice ends sentences low often when I thought it should have been high. It kind of stopped it from rhyming almost. I don't really know how else to describe that, but just the the note that she ended on often was not where I wanted it to end on. which is okay. It's just me personally, it makes it a little less enjoyable to listen to or even sing to. I liked her voice though, so I still think she has a very beautiful voice in both songs I listened to. I just thought it was not executed to my liking personally, so I gave it a 7.75 out of 10. I I'll be honest, there wasn't even that crazy of like a chorus or anything. I am shocked that this was number one for so long. Like it didn't feel like a song. Not that it was bad, but it didn't feel like a song that is like singable or like a lot of people are listening to all the time. So I don't know. It must be everyone in Texas is just listening to it. Bumping up the numbers. All right, next one. I know I said that I didn't want to like dive Nick head first into Kendrick's songs, but I had to include this. The only other song I was debating was Prayer, which is not even a actual song. It's unreleased. But uh yeah, I picked Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst by Kendrick Lamar. I kind of tried to explain it to the best of my ability to him before he listened to it about how there's like different characters being personified when he's talking in the different verses and stuff. But yeah, I thought he might enjoy it because there's a lot of mention of Christianity and stuff. And it's a very deep song. Even if you can't relate to it personally, you can understand what other people might be going through. So yeah, what were your thoughts?
So listening to this song, I was like, I like the storytelling in it. And then about 6 minutes through, I was like, this is a really long song.
It's kind of like two songs in one because of the beat change.
And then towards the end of the song, he was like, every line or every other word, he's like, and Christian said he didn't notice it because he
Yeah,
like
I
tunes it
literally
out.
didn't notice it because it's so normal for me, like listening to songs where they do ad libs or something at the end. Because I don't know, it gives it a little pizzazz, I guess. I don't know exactly why people do it. Maybe it's breathing too. I'm not sure.
I also said I'm not a fan of all the profanity because he was cussing
Yeah,
quite a bit, but I
which
know a
is
lot of rap songs are
which is
like
fair.
that.
Yeah, but I don't think he does it without reason. In this case, it is very much to tell a story.
hmm And then I said I like the message, but not a fan of the talking at the end.
Which I was kinda shocked by, because the talking is so unique and like a good kind of feel good message. I thought you might actually enjoy that. But I guess you're just not used to that in a song. So
hmm
specifically given the context of the song, you didn't like it?
Yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking about in my head was I like that they were doing that, but it's not really meant for a song. Like a song is for singing in my head.
Oh, wow. Okay. No, that's
Well,
no,
I
you're good.
I
I mean, I'm
guess
just I can smell the comments. I can smell the comment section. Not that anyone watches these, but
well, I was also thinking at the same time, they got instrumental stuff. So, which some of them are okay, but
yeah.
I just don't. I'm just not a big fan of talking in songs. Besides, maybe
Yeah.
when it makes
I
sense.
I agree. I actually don't like talking in songs usually, but given the context of the rest of this album, which I know you didn't listen to, and also just the point of the song, I actually think it's okay here because this to me is more of a work of art than it is like a song you're going to like listen to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So with that being said, do you kind of recognize why some people consider Kendrick Lamar a bit of a genius or one of the greatest to ever do it?
yeah. I can see why he has a good storytelling ability, but
Because and you know, a lot of people were upset that he was a Super Bowl performer. You know what I mean?
yeah, I like storytelling music. I'm just not a fan of like the rap style that they like.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know how to explain it, but
No, I
like
get it.
Alan Jackson is a very big storytelling guy.
Do you feel like you have a deeper understanding of rap and you've learned that it's kind of different than what you thought? Certain parts of it?
Yeah, because I think there's another artist that did storytelling that I've heard before that raps, but I don't remember his name.
If you say Eminem, bro.
It's not Eminem.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Kendrick's not the only one to do this sort of storytelling style. I mean, technically every song tells a story if we want to get technical, but yeah, that's why I really like Kendrick's music because even if it's something I don't relate to, it opens my eyes up to issues or things that I would have never been exposed to, you know? So I appreciate him for that, for the contribution to art.
I remembered his name. So it was back. I don't even know if he makes any more music or if he's popular at all. But back in high school, I would ride around with friends and stuff, and one of my friends would listen to Polo G, and he had a
Oh,
bunch of
Polo
storytelling
G.
songs.
Wow, I did not think you were gonna say that. Was that for me?
I don't remember what song it was. It could have been you,
Was that
but
for me? Because I used to really like him in, like, early high school, and then I dropped him completely.
there was a song it had just came out. I don't remember what song it was, but it was like
Yeah, it was super
storytelling.
popular.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I don't consider him, like, a storyteller on the same levels as Kendrick, but he definitely does talk about his background growing up in O Block, which if you don't know, O Block is, like, the worst street to live on in Chicago, probably. Uh, yeah, that's crazy that you remember that. Huh. I did come back to listen to some of his newer stuff about a year ago, and I was, like, a little disappointed, but as far as I'm aware, he is still listened to. He isn't really as popular, but yeah.
Also, I don't remember if I said, but 7 out of 10.
I think that's a fair rating. This isn't really a song per se as much as it is a piece of art, like I said.
And then the final song I gave Christian, I wanted to go modernized to keep it balanced in what I showed him, the new and the modern. But I didn't mean to say the old and the modern. But
Yeah.
so I chose We Didn't Have Much by Justin Moore just because I deeply relate with this song. And I had a feeling that if he heard this song and related to it in some way, he might end up liking it. But yeah, that's why I chose it.
So I said, I noticed right away it had deep, relatable lyrics for anyone that's grown up in the Midwest. Uh, it actually didn't really relate a ton to me personally, but just growing up in this area, I've experienced it secondhand from other people. So I understand it and I do relate to it more than maybe some people. Um, I did notice though, there seems to be a slight bit of auto-tune use on this song at least. I don't know if he always does it. Did you maybe catch that as well? Or
Maybe I don't. It's kind of hard for me to catch auto tune like
it's very
without
slight.
knowing.
It's very slight, but I just that rubbed me a little bit the wrong way because I thought, this guy's singing deep, relatable music on a guitar, but yet he's gonna use auto-tune to cover up his voice. Like, no, bro, give it real. I want to hear the real, true you.
Nah, bro, keep it real.
And maybe it's not auto-tune, maybe it's just editing, but something about it sounded slightly off. So I gave it an 8 out of 10. It was good. So here's a couple of our final notes and lessons learned from this. I said that I like fun country as well as modern pop-like country, and I could see myself getting into country slowly if I find a country artist who uses maybe non-country instruments, and then I kind of work my way up. I don't know if that's out there. Let us know in the comments. If you know a country artist that uses experimental instrumentation or something slightly non-traditional, something Radiohead-esque, let us know who that is, and I'll have to check them out.
Well, actually, this wasn't during recording, but I recommended Shabuzi
Which
because
I
he's
I have listened to before, but that's not quite what I'm looking for. That's almost like on the levels of coworker music. If you know, you know. Kinda like, what's his name? He has, like, face tattoos.
Post Malone,
No,
Jelly
um
Roll.
yeah, Jelly Roll. Anyways, I know I can smell the comments. Oh gosh, we've made everyone angry on every sides of music.
I bet that
What's
since you,
your what's your lesson?
I can almost guarantee you've listened to a lot of Post Malone. So I bet if
Actually, I
you,
haven't.
oh
I
really?
was talking to
Well,
Connor about this the other day, my friend. Uh
shout out Connor.
I don't really listen to Post Malone much.
But anyways, if you like his music has, in my opinion, I haven't listened to hardly any of his country songs, but in my opinion, his music
Shabuzi?
hasn't really changed a whole lot. No, Post Malone.
Oh, I heard he's making another rap album. Is his next album.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It is someone I probably need to do a little bit deeper of a dive on, because I have heard a couple of his rap songs. I've heard a couple of his country or songs, and I actually did like. There's this one song by him that's kind of country-esque that I did like. I don't remember what it's called. I'll have to look that up later. Anyways,
Are you
where
talking about
this
Post Malone still or Shabuzi?
Post Malone.
It's all over the place right now.
I know. I'll stop. Anyways, um, but I have listened to Shabuzi. I added that one song to my playlist because it's kind of a vibe. I'm not gonna lie, but like I don't feel good about it. It's like chocolate. It's like I like it, but I don't feel good that I'm eating it. Anyways, this episode's going kind of long, so let's end it with your final notes.
So my final notes were: you can like some songs, without knowing the lyrics, which I was talking about myself. Um, with that song that didn't portray any English lyrics, but we were getting down with it. We were dancing, like we said. So I liked
So
it,
you gotta
but
do like Mexican country music now or something? If that exists.
I don't know about that. But and then I
Gosh,
said,
oh my gosh, if there is a Japanese country artist out there that actually sings in Japanese but in the style of country, please let me know. I need to hear this. Anyways, continue.
then I said another lesson I learned was that Egyptian guitar goes hard, and rap is not my thing, but can have good messages and meaning in the lyrics, besides drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. You feel like you have a new found perspective on rap?
I don't know. I mean, kinda, yeah, but I don't know.
So if you hear a drunk country guy hating on rap, what are you gonna say to him?
Probably not gonna say anything to him because he's probably one of those guys that gets into bar fights.
Well, okay, that is a great point. Do not get into bar fights.
Don't upset a drunk man because you may get into a fight.
All right. Yeah, that was a fun episode. I don't know about you, but I would love to do this again, especially with like suggestions from our community. So let us know in the comments some songs you want both of us to listen to.
Yeah, or artists. We're open to
Yeah,
listening to
artists
just
in general,
artists
that's
too.
fine. I like listening to albums, so that's fine.
Yes, so I know Noah Khan, Nick Khan, I don't know what his name is really big
Jahan,
right now, and I haven't
I've
listened to
listened to
any
his
of his
music.
music.
It's okay. It's borderline coworker music. I know that's gonna make a lot of people mad, but I'm sorry, it's true. Okay, and what I mean by that in this instance is he's writing songs, I feel like, to be popular and like be likable. I wish he would experiment a bit more because he has a great voice and he could be onto something big. That's all I'm gonna say. So no hate though. I like him. He's good. Also, someone pooped at his concert. Did you hear about that?
What?
Yeah, look it up. Poopgate. It's kind of funny. Anyways, uh, that's all for that's all, folks. Yep. No. We purposely didn't play music so we didn't get copyright striked, and Nick right at the end gets us striked. Thank you. Anyways, have a good night, and we will see you later.
Or have a good day.
Yeah, whenever you're listening to this. Have a good indigo night. See what I
Ooh,
did there?
yeah, I like that.
And remember, this is God's country.